6v6, the future of Overwatch. Yes, I do genuinely believe 6v6 is the future for us, and I will tell you why in this video. If you're new to the channel and play Overwatch, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Anyways, back to the important stuff, 6v6. What's going on with 6v6 versus 5v5 stuff? And now that the tests have been out, which one is truly better? So I'm a big 6v6 fan, and I'll tell you everything you need to know on why I think 6v6 truly is better, and what I think will be the future of the game. So when I'm talking about 6v6, I don't want to talk about just the 6v6 test, but also some other stuff and balance issues. So originally, when the 6v6 test came out, I did not have a good time. I thought it was better than 5v5, but I didn't like it. Why? Because the changes and balance that came with the test wasn't all that great. It was really okay-ish, especially because of the health pools, which I will come back to later in the video when we dive deeper. But I actually want to start with just plain 6v6 versus 5v5. Why is 6v6 better? And honestly, there's so many reasons. First of all, the two biggest components are hero fantasy or integrity and killable tanks. So firstly, talking about tanks, you can kill tanks now. It's fun. In 6v6, you can burst down anyone and everyone is killable, and tanks have less health, meaning they will be punished if they make mistakes, which they don't get in 5v5 as much. A tank has such an easy time getting away with most things in 5v5. Having two tanks removes the super tank problem and removes the counterwatch meta a little bit. Adding one more tank also makes it so supports has a tank to peel for them, aka supports don't have to defend themselves as hard as they can. If you know me, you know how much I hate support power creep, which brings me to a huge problem with the 6v6 test. And that's the fact that tanks only got nerfed and most supports didn't get touched, meaning now they have another tank to peel, plus they can defend themselves, which I really don't like. Obviously everyone should be able to defend themselves, but not to the degree they can right now. So supports have really good damage and healing, and many ways of getting out or killing you, so playing DPS feels rather boring and bad, just bad time. And to be honest, when I'm having fun playing 6v6, I mainly duo queue with my friend and just fucking play Lucio and only Lucio. And I'll get back into the support talk when we go into balance, because I want to tell you about watered down heroes. In 5v5 Overwatch, many heroes have changed to fit the 5v5 format, and this way many of the heroes feel watered down and less special. A great example is all of the movement being added, new heroes with movement buffs, and most new heroes added to the game has some form of movement ability or get out of jail free card. So in short, many heroes feel less special because 5v5 is designed in a way so all heroes fit most situations, and thus making them feel watered down. Do you get what I mean? And this is where I want to chat a little bit about Overwatch Classic and why that also proves this. So as of making this video, the only Classic that has been out is the first Classic event, which yeah, was unbalanced, but it was fun. All of the heroes felt so different. Torb was the engineer, Bastion was the sentry turret, Genji and Tracer were the big flankers, and Hanzo and Widow were the snipers. And obviously your hero wasn't always the best pick for all situations, but you could make it work if you were good enough, even though the sign said otherwise. While in 5v5 most heroes, especially tanks, doesn't really feel that special to play, because most of the balance and new heroes just wants to fit all the situations as good as other characters. A prime example of this is Ball. Overwatch 1 Ball was very special and he could be very good, because balance let him be very good. While in 5v5 we only have one tank, and if Ball is really good, nobody's gonna have a good time except Ball, and if Ball is really bad, well, you can't really play Ball. So Ball is a tank designed for 6v6, so in 5v5, Ball doesn't really fit because he's so different from the other tanks. I don't know if that was understandable, so I'm moving into balance. So the balance in the 6v6 mode was rather shit, because it literally just 5v5 balance with one more tank with less HP. So the biggest complaint I have is the health pools, because we need to get rid of the Season 9 health pools, and I have a huge reason for you. First of all, people die really slow now, and that's because everyone universally has gotten more HP. And I know many people don't like the Season 9 changes when they shook up the game. So when they rolled out the changes, it was fun because it was new. kind of like Marvel Rivals. But now that it's not new, we aren't blinded by the funny light that realizes that we realized that the pre-season 9 health pools were better. And I won't go super harsh on this now, or maybe a little, but it's because Blizzard has said that after Season 14, we're getting a huge update to competitive and new weapon skin variants, so no more Jade. And hopefully they revert the changes and do something else, because they're gonna shake up the game again. But it's not the health pools alone that is the problem. Even though it's a big problem, it's combined with something else. And there's two more things. So we have support power creep and balance issues. So high health itself is kinda okay, but when you mix it with abilities that can save teammates and yourself is just a press of a button, it's already more miserable. And I've said this a lot, especially Lamp, Suzu, and Life Grip. Those three abilities alone feels miserable to play against, because there's no risk of using them and they get so much value. The biggest risk you have is pissing off a teammate with grip, and that's it. So let's say I'm fighting a Bastion. I know, bad example, but hear me out. He has a lot of health and a lot of armor, so I almost kill him and whoop grip and fully healed. Or I use Dragon Blade on Baptiste. I hit him, he uses Lamp. I hit again, he uses Shift. Almost max HP, but still Lamp is still up. Another hit, and then comes Suzu, and by this time I'm already probably dead. And I'm not even counting all the extra healing is gonna get from the other supports or bubbles, Zarya bubbles or something. And that's an ultimate for an ability, and that feels really bad, honestly. These abilities and the health pool isn't everything, because another problem is raw numbers on supports. I'm talking healing and damage, and this has gotten worse and worse since launch of Overwatch 1. Now, I'm shitting a lot on supports, but a lot of the problems originate from support power. So the raw healing has gotten higher and higher, as I said, starting with Ana pumping crazy heals when she came out, then Moira with high AoE healing, and then Bap with consistent healing and AoE healing and a life save ability. So supports can heal really much. That means they don't have that much damage, right? No, wrong. Some supports are literally better at flanking and killing than DPS. Here are a few examples. Kiriko and Lucio are great flankers, kind of like Genji and Tracer. And I don't want to shit on Lucio because he isn't really that good when flanking and he's kind of forced into one playstyle, usually. He was way stronger in 6v6, but Lucio and Kiriko, they have good damage and easy to get out with. Also, Moira. In higher ranks, sure, she sucks, but my point is, she can flank and get out easily or get a kill, even though unless you're gold and below. I mean, Moira's not that good in higher ranks, but in low ranks she's really good. Moira ain't a problem. And lastly, we have Bap and Illari, who are the McCree of supports. Good soft flanks and very safe. Illari can leave her turret with the team and just go DPS, or she can take it with her and heal herself up, and also has a jump with a boop effect. And Bap, well, I've said enough about him. You get what I mean about him. Supports numbers are really high, and honestly, Overwatch needs a whole universal number decrease, especially on health and healing, both self-healing and support healing. This means people will die faster, aka providing our brain-rotted skibidi brain with more dopamine. Anyways, I want to go into the important topic of the video and kinda sum it up for you. I believe 6v6 is the future. We will get more tests, and it will become a game mode, and that means that hopefully Blizzard makes more changes to the whole cast in 6v6, and more people will realize how good it actually is. It brings more depth to the game and makes it harder and more fun to master, because it's more risk and more fun to actually pull off a cool play. And if Blizzard actually adds more updates, I think 6v6 might actually become the main game mode. But as it looks right now, I'm coping a lot, and we need more people to love 6v6. And there's one thing I think has a potential to turn over a lot of people, and trust me, this will be a good one. But before we get into it, I just want to ask you to like the video if you've come this far, and maybe subscribe. Anyways, one thing might turn people over a lot, and it's not the next test, and it's not balance. It's going to be Overwatch Classic. And before you flip your desk and cry because the last Classic mode sucked, hear me out. The last mode was really mid and only fun because of nostalgia, but the next mode will be the Doomfist Moth Meta era, and that means we have countless quality of life changes and a lot of new heroes, and the classic will be really, really fun. So not only will there be a lot of new heroes, but this is when, in my opinion, Overwatch was kinda at its golden stage, or at least very close to a golden era. It was really good, so the balance is way better than the first classic. And there are way more healers, and all of the quality of life changes are there too. That's why I think the Overwatch Classic mode will convince many that 6v6 truly is better than 5v5. And if this season proves that 6v6 is better, we might see 6v6 as the future of Overwatch. But to make Overwatch 2 6v6 work, we need way better balance than just making tanks less tankier. Do you agree with me?